Hello, my lapidary and pottery friends, and welcome back to Willow's Southwest Studio for another rock polishing video. Today, I've got a really fun project planned. We're going to be working on this here cool fossil that I recently cut. We're going to get it nice and polished up on a flat surface. So let's get ready to dive right on into this project. So we've got our nice, beautiful fossil right here. As you can see, I cut it, got rid of a lot of the useless bulk for it, but it revealed some really cool patterns in here. So I definitely want to polish this up. I've got a couple of crinoid stems here. This one's a really flat, squashed one that we will also be adding onto this using a little bit of glue to make this a little bit more of a decorative piece. A piece that you'll definitely want to put on your shelf. But first, let's go over the basics of safety. I've got here my safety goggles. These are a must. I've also got here a pair of gloves. This is great for protecting those hands. And finally, make sure you're working in an area that has plenty of adequate ventilation. You don't want to be breathing in any of that rock dust. All right, I think we're ready to roll. We'll just check and make sure our reservoir is filled with water. And it looks like it is. Our dirty water bucket is completely empty. Looking pretty good. Now for this project. Since I'm going to be polishing this whole flat surface, I want to make sure it's nice and completely flat. I've got here a marker, which just happens to be a Sharpie. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scribble a whole bunch of lines on this. Because I know I've got a lot of bumps and other uncanny things that are on this rock. I want to make sure I have a nice, flush, flat surface. And once I have all these black lines removed, I'll know I have a pretty flat surface. And I'll probably be ready to move on to the next step. And here's another quick look at this beautiful specimen. Just look at these neat little crinoids right in there. And all this other crazy, probably organic material at one point in its life. This is cool. I just love these fossils. And then of course the other reverse side. This little circle is really interesting. It's weird because I don't see anything growing out of the inside of this. Something must have gotten trapped in there. All right, let's start this off by getting a little bit of water flow into this. Oh boy, my good old hard water out here. It's either too little or too much. Yeah, that looks about right. There we go. We got our Goldilocks water right there. And we'll turn this on. So I've installed my 80 grit diamond disc right here. We've got our fossil right here, and we're going to be flipping it over on the other side. This is always the loudest step out of all the diamond grits that we're going to be using, just because it abrades off so much material. We want to make sure we have this completely flat. Again, and we have our lines to help us out on that. So we'll just slap it down and kind of keep it moving around. This is a big piece, so this is going to be a little bit tricky to get it in here. I think it'll fit just nice this way. So here we go. Well, we're definitely making some progress. You can see where the stubborn areas are, right here on the sides. We'll just continue going on. Oh, I love that little pattern there. That is cool. All right, this is looking pretty good. So as you can see, we managed to abrade away all those black lines, and our surface is definitely very smooth, and we should be completely flush, nice and flat. So now we're ready to move on to our next step. All right, I've got here my 180 grit diamond disc, and we're ready to install this. Uh-oh. That first step drained my reservoir. I better add some more water though. All right, so this step is really important. We want to make sure we keep this rock moving around on it. You don't want to start to reintroduce any new grooves or pits along it, or those record playing streaks. So you definitely want to keep your rock moving around on this step. The more time you spend on it, the easier the remaining steps will be. And right off the bat, you'll notice this step is a lot more quieter than the last one. That is looking really beautiful. Wow. I just love these colors. And that little circle there, that just keeps catching my eye every time I see it. Just beautiful. All right, I think we're ready to move on to the next step. Make sure we turn our water off. And it's always important to keep an eye on that waste bucket. I notice my water is getting a little bit full. I don't want it to start overflowing. So I'm going to empty that before I switch out the next disc. We're ready to move on to the brown disc right here. So let's get this installed. Oops. Set you aside, my friend. So if you spent a little extra time making sure you had it nice and flush on that last step, the 180 grit, this step should go really quick, maybe less than a minute. It's going to come out looking a little bit polished, but not too polished. But when it does, you know you achieved your goal in the last step. All right, let's dive right in. And once again, with this fossil, make sure we got it moving around quite a lot. Change my speed setting to about 3. There we go. That's better. All right. All right, that's looking beautiful. Let's move on to the blue disc now. So I was about to swap out to my blue disc when I noticed we have a little bit of a complication in this fossil. Unfortunately, there's some sandstone grit in here that did not fully agatize in the process when it was becoming a nice, beautiful fossil like this. So we got little specks in here that are not going to be able to be polished. So there's a couple of workarounds we can go about doing this to repair these little patches in here. The first and best way to do this is to use extreme heat. I'm not going to be demonstrating that though, because it's something you definitely want to be doing outdoors, and you probably want to be wearing a respirator because we're not going to be using any water to cool the diamonds down. What we're going to be doing is causing that intense heat to build up, which is going to melt the sand, and it's going to kind of turn it into a glass, which is going to allow us to polish it. So that's our best option that we have, but I won't be doing that option in this video today, guys. So I'm going to move right onto that next blue disc, and we're going to continue on. But unfortunately, I'm going to have those little imperfections that are just going to be a permanent part of this fossil. There we go. Make sure I got my safety goggles back on. And get this thing turned on. Beautiful. And a little bit of water to go with it. So again, as you can see, this is looking pretty good. This is going to really start to make it shine though. Just remember just to keep it moving around. That is looking really beautiful. All right, I think we can move on to our next step, the aluminum oxide now. All right, as you can see, I've got my aluminum oxide pad already installed. Basically what this pad is, it's a felt pad that I've used some aluminum oxide powder and rubbed it in, and it's ready to go. I've got here my squirt bottle that's filled with distilled water. I don't recommend using hard water, however, though, because it does contain calcium and other impurities. You may introduce that back into all that hard work you spent on the previous steps, and you don't want more scratches being introduced into all that hard work. So I definitely recommend some distilled water. I'm basically going to take this bottle, just spritz it a little bit. It's not going to be soaking wet, just a little bit of water. I'm going to take my polished rock here, although this guy is a monster, so this is, I just rub it into the felt material. And I hope I've got enough aluminum oxide powder in this, because I did go a little bit skinsy on it. But I think we got enough to make this work. We'll add a little bit more distilled water. Ooh, I may have overdone it there, guys. Let it dry off real quick. We'll get this started. So let's do this. And just gently let it glide across there. Keep it moving around. Have it on one of the lowest speed settings. This is always the fun part. It's just nice and gently let it go. Gliding all across that pad. Now, if for some reason it dries out too quick, you can just take your squirt bottle and add a few little drops of distilled water again. Since this is a bigger rock, I have a feeling I'm going to encounter that problem. Make sure we get those corners. Just gently let it glide. And right about here, I can feel it start to grip that pad really good. So I think we're pretty much done here. All right, and let's see the big reveal here now. Oh boy, this is always exciting. And, oh, just look at that shine. That is beautiful. Wow. Look at those colors, they just really popped. So now we'll just put our fossil right here. And now that we've got that beautiful polished bottom, we can start to decorate it with a little bit of super glue. We could take some of these crinoid stems and we can make this look a little bit more interesting. This particular crinoid stem pretty much matches the one that's in the base. So it looks like it broke off here. We could probably glue that onto there just like so. Add a couple of other little pieces here to add some interest to it. And just like that, oh wait, I almost forgot. We got this crazy squashed flat crinoid stem right here. Where could we put you, my friend? You've definitely seen some aging and weathering over the years, so we'll put you right there. So there we go. We've got a little bit of a crinoid fossil diorama that we can put on our shelf now. That is just beautiful. What do you guys think? And there you have it, my friends. How to polish up a beautiful fossil specimen from Payson. Oh boy, that was a lot of fun. We did encounter a few little complications, but I think in the end, it turned out just beautiful. And now I've got this really cool diorama I can put on my shelf. I really hope you learned something from this tutorial today. If you did, please be sure to consider hitting that subscribe button and helping this channel grow. And don't forget to give it a like. All right, my friends, thanks so much for watching. Until next time.